What's up guys? Today we're going to be installing our Winch-Ready bumper on this Can-Am Defender. Let's get right to it. The first thing that we're going to do is come to the front of the machine and remove both of these factory T40 Torx screws on the front here. You'll have a 13mm nut in the channel. A lot of times what I like to do is take a socket and an impact. A lot of times you can just snap it a couple times. Remove the bolt as well as the nut. We'll just do that for over here as well. So now we're going to grab our M8 by 25mm bolts. You should have 2 of them, as well as 2 of our bumper tubes. So we're going to take our M8 by 25mm bolt and we're going to slide it through the hole that we previously removed our factory hardware from. It can be a little bit tricky to not drop the bolts. So what I like to do is just take a little bit of electrical tape and wrap it onto the head of the bolt. This is just going to make it so it sticks in our socket a little bit better and makes it so we do not drop it down into the frame, because if we do, we're most likely not going to get it back. So as you can see here, got some electrical tape, that bolt's in there good. So now we're going to reach through on the back side where we previously removed the factory hardware. Slide the bolt through, then grab your bumper tube, and you can just thread it right on. I like to tighten this as tight as I can by hand, and then we'll come back with a ratchet and snug it up. So once we have that one on, we're going to do the same exact process for the opposite side. Just take a little bit of tape again, tape the bolt up. And you can do it without putting electrical tape on it, but just to be safe, it's going to save you time. If you drop it down in the frame, it's pretty difficult to get it back out. Put it on just like that. Put it in the socket, reach through, pop through the hole. We're just going to thread our bumper tube on. And we'll grab a ratchet and we'll snug these up. So now we're going to grab 2 of our M8 by 25mm bolts, as well as 2 of our M8 nylock nuts, the mount plate, and then we're going to get it installed. So we're going to install it just like this to our machine. We're just going to take our bolt, slide it through. What I like to do, just to make it easier at first, to get one side started, is just let it hang, and we're going to reach around from the back side with our M8 nylock nut. Get it started, flip the mount plate up into position, and then start the bolt through the other side. Go ahead and get the nut started, just like so. Next, we're going to mount the mount frame. In order to do that, we're going to need 3 M10 by 25mm bolts, as well as 3 M10 nylocks, and 2 M8 by 25mm bolts. So what we're going to do is take our mount frame, slide it up into position here, and line it up with our tubes. Just go ahead and get the hardware started. We do not want to fully tighten anything yet. The only thing that should be fully tightened is the bumper tubes. And then we're going to go down here and we're going to mount our mount frame using the M10s. Let's get your hardware started. On all three of the holes. So what I like to do is make sure that we center our bumper with the plastic. So, if we need to adjust it that way, we do so, but I want to make sure that it's the same gap in between right here and right here on both sides of the bumper mount. And whenever we do that, we're good to go ahead and fully tighten our tubes, and then we can go ahead and tighten the rest of our hardware. Continue fully tighten the hardware now that we have the bumper adjusted where it needs to be. So now we're going to grab our brush guard. Just go ahead and set it up onto the frame. Then we're going to grab 4 of our M10 bolts. We're going to go ahead and thread these directly into the bumper. Now we're just going to thread our hardware through the brush guard into the bumper mount. What I like to do is pull my bumper out as far as it'll go, and just hold it in that position and then fully tighten my hardware. Now we're going to grab 4 of our M8 by 20 millimeter bolts. It should be the last hardware in the kit, as well as 4 M8 nylock nuts and our cross tube. I'm going to install it just like this. You can do it either way. You can do it like this, or you can flip it around and install it like this. I kind of want it to be leaned forward. So that's how we're going to install it today. You could flip it around and install it the opposite way if you'd like. Totally up to you. We're going to take our bolt, pop it through the hole. It's going to go down through the brush guard. Then we're going to take our M8 and come from the bottom. Get her started. And we'll just continue doing that for the rest of our 3 holes. So now we're just going to go ahead and fully tighten our hardware. So the last thing we're going to do is go ahead and pop on our tow hooks. It's super easy. Just unscrew the pin, line it up with the hole, Slide it through, tighten it up. So now that we've got our hooks on, all our hardware tight, there's a couple features I'd like to go over with you on this bumper. This bumper is set up for a SuperATV Black Ops winch, as well as LED cube lights. Once you've got all your hardware tightened, that's all there is to it to install SuperATV's Winch-Ready bumper on this Can-Am Defender. Be sure to check the description below for a link to pick yours up today. And while you're there, don't forget to drop a like, comment, and subscribe. Thanks for watching, and we'll catch you on the next one.